In America, in the prosperous 20s, there were those who felt they could afford the hollow luxury of blind prejudice. In gentle whispers, daughters of the American Revolution gave the name American an exclusive ring. In pompous convocation, they fed pride with medals and oratory. In hoarse bellows, others paid homage to a pure America, a land purged of Catholics, Negroes, Jews, or foreigners. In shrill militancy, the Ku Klux Klan brandished blind suspicion under the convenient banner of super-patriotism. A shroud of intolerance swathed Ellis Island in silence.
Others were not so easily controlled. A secret organization, the Ku Klux Klan, spread its poisonous influence throughout a large part of the country.
The Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, bigotry in bedsheets, the ignorant, the unbalanced, the venal completely pervert the motto, make America safe for Americans. Spawned by the Civil War, the Klan comes to life again in the wake of another war. Its symbols, the cross and the flag. Its weapons, intimidation and terror, intolerance and crime. Secret hocus pocus comes the ludicrous ceremony of initiation used at all conclaves. Are you a native-born white Gentile American? Will you faithfully strive for the eternal maintenance of white supremacy? But behind this adolescent mumbo-jumbo lies the ugly reality. Negroes, Catholics, Jews, foreigners, persecute them all. Avenue, Washington, D.C., the invisible empire becomes bold enough, strong enough, 5 million strong, to make itself thoroughly visible. Main Street, any state, USA.
Morning, look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. In Dixieland, I'll take my stand.
You know, the system is they want to throw white children and colored children into the melting pot of integration, out of which will come a conglomerated, mulatto, mongrel class of people. Both races will be destroyed in such a movement. I, for one, under God, will die before I'll yield 1 inch to that kind of a movement in America.
Under siege now by civil rights legislation, the men in white went to war.
Milestones of the century. The fiery cross of the Ku Klux Klan has 3 times burned its way into American history. The Klan originally appeared in 1866 in the bitter aftermath of the Civil War. Growing in violence, the Klan's central organization was finally disbanded by its leader, General Nathan Forrest of Tennessee. The Klan's second rise took place near Atlanta, Georgia in 1915. Its founder, William J. Simmons, called it a high-class, mystic, patriotic society devoted to the protection of white Protestant womanhood. This house was given to Simmons by Klan members, and here the imperial wizard poses beside the dedication plaque. In defamation of Protestant ethics, and indeed of all major faiths, religion became an instrument of hate. Feeding on post-war tensions and appealing to the prejudices of super-patriots, irrational political and religious groups, and some well-meaning but misguided citizens, the Klan's growth was phenomenal. By the mid-20s, it boasted an estimated 4 million members. Taking refuge behind the flag its credo contradicted, Klan influence and national life rose in proportion to its membership. In many sections, as Klan power grew, hoods were discarded. And by 1925, the Knights of the Invisible Empire were openly marching in the nation's capital. A revered symbol was sacrilegiously paraded down the main street of a great democracy. The Klan's attitude was, if we wave a flag and invoke the name of God, then our cause is just. Gradually, public disgust with the Klan's acts of violence, discovery of corruption involving high Klan officials, and its known link with the Nazi movement caused the decay of the Second Empire. In 1946 came another Klan revival. Established in Georgia, Dr. Samuel Green left was its benevolent Grand Dragon. In keeping with lofty traditions, the whole family was invited to join. But behind the mask of domestic morality lay the same old philosophy of intolerance and violence. Soon the Klan reverted to floggings, night rides, and kidnapping. By 1952, facing public contempt, local disenfranchisement, and federal law, membership sunk to an all-time low. Democracy's truce had prevailed over the phantoms of tyranny among the milestones of the century.
Active resistance. I, for one, under God, will die before I'll yield 1 inch to that kind of a movement.
The die-hard segregation.
White supremacists and Klansmen moved openly in the 10 South. A display of solidarity prompted, among other things, by an expected invasion of college students. The students planned to...
A tragic level of inhumanity and sin and evil. The Ku Klux Klan is revived. Crosses also burn in Louisiana. Or in New Orleans, the Roman Catholic Archdiocese.
With expanded jurisdiction in the fields of organized crime and civil rights, the FBI scored decisive blows against Ku Klux Klan violence. Also,
it was fitting that during the decade of the...
Later, after hearing a fiery speech by segregationist Connie Lynch at the old slave market, nearly 300 whites marched into the Negro area. The marchers were confronted by a large group of sign-carrying Negroes on Washington Street. But there were no overt incidents here. This situation became tense when the white marchers returned to the downtown needed so long. On July 4th, about 150 white people marched in a Ku Klux Klan parade, with about 75 of these wearing robes. There were few spectators and no incidents. The Klansmen had announced they would have 5,000 members in the march. Scattered incidents continued in St. Augustine, usually involving tests in restaurants of the new civil rights law. Martin Luther King returned to the city again and declared, "The Ku Klux Klan is not going to take over St. Augustine, even if we must offer our bodies as sacrifices." It is apparent that the Florida Highway Patrol and other law enforcement agencies must be trained and prepared to cope with these disorders in the future.
but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed.
Kept the black people in bondage, didn't want an organized labor movement in the South either. One organization stood for political terror more than any other in the South, the feared and despised Ku Klux Klan. Not only was the Klan used to terrorize black people, but it was used to keep Union organizers out of the South.
Ku Klux taken down Ike Gaston, which was a very close friend of mine in our family. All of his people worked in the Gate City Cotton Mill. Well, when they taken him out, the Ku Klux, and in a cold, freezing March, and stripped him naked and put him on a stump and whipped him to death, and when Ike Gaston was killed and it come to the showdown, 2 of the deputy sheriffs of Fulton County was responsible. They were responsible for beating that man to death.
Many more Southern workers who tried to organize unions met the same fate as Ike Gaston.
Well, you see what they do? They go out and beat up people and kill them to keep the black and white divided, and then besides that, to keep the blacks scared and also the whites scared, and to keep racism, going, and it was in a big way.
In spite of the dangers, Southern mill hands kept organizing. In Henderson, North Carolina, in Elizabethton, Tennessee, in Gastonia, North Carolina, in Marion, North Carolina.
Differences could provide them with an excellent wedge to divide our people. Their strategy simply has been...
During here is very significant and it's very important.
Then you follow up your friends and acquaintances and ask them if they want to help put this fight over to save this country from the onslaught of integration. You know the system is they want to throw white children and colored children into the melting pot of integration, throughout of which will come a conglomerated, mulatto, mongrel class of people. Both races will be destroyed in such a movement. I, for one, under God, will die before I'll yield 1 inch to that kind of a movement in America.
And not only has the black man got a champion, they call him Martin Luther King, we call him Lucifer. If God has some champions of the white man, and you can name Connie Lynch as one of them. Today, tomorrow, and forever. And if this nigger thinks he can stir the niggers up, I'll also inform him that the white men can be stirred up to defend what is rightfully theirs.
And so the seeds of dissension were sown among both the black and the white races.
An innocent South. And so, to save the South, the Ku Klux Klan organized in 1865. On horseback with guns, sword, and the cross, they terrorized Negroes and their sympathizers with violence, arson, and murder. Today, though their techniques have progressed to air-conditioned limousines, they are still active, still dedicated to their faith that Jesus Christ was not a Jew, that the Pope of Rome is Antichrist, and the Negro is a beast who must be suppressed.
To describe that bunch, I'd have to use a whole lot stronger than I'm permitted to use, being a minister of the gospel. Amen. They go into the auditorium or the gymnasium for the after football game dance. Then comes along one of the nigger football players, and they all go piled in there together like that you are here tonight, just like a bunch of OICs and Berkshire hogs all trying to loosen a lot together. They go in there and they get to rubbing around, smelling that vanilla flavoring. Could you conceive the idea of your fair-skinned daughter, her dancing partner be tagged on the shoulder by some burrhead, liver, lip, goat-smelling, eight-faced nigger? Can you conceive such a thing? Are you going to do something about it?
Reverend W.N. Redmond, as most Southern Negroes,
are an inferior people. Part of the South acknowledged the change. Many fought it. White citizens' councils were formed, and the Ku Klux Klan marched again. The students were caught in the middle. Observers blamed diehards and outside agitators for most of the